Weight loss, wellness, some secrets behind it. Come on, little thingy here. Okay, there we go. Go live. Tune in right now if you're interested in more profound help with weight loss and wellness. Struggling with that, sick and tired of struggling with it, ready to do something about it at a much deeper level than superficial. And yeah, I'm ready to go. If you're ready to go, here we go. All right. So today, this, is something that I think could be really big light bulb moment for a lot of people who feel frustrated with weight loss, health, wellness. What if real weight loss got easier when you stopped fighting yourself inside? And that's a great opportunity. Now, what if you stopped fighting yourself inside and weight loss suddenly became so much easier, right? What I want you to really hear that for a moment. And that's why I was pausing on it, because I'm not talking about one more, food rule or one more round of willpower or one more version of trying harder. I'm talking about a completely different path, because most people who want to lose weight or get healthier think the path is more discipline, more control, more rules, more food management, more pressure, more being good, more starting over, more trying not to mess up. And for a lot of people, that has not actually gotten them where they want to go. Hello, bad meat. So, the opportunity I want to present today is this: there is a different path to weight loss and wellness than force or food control and white knuckling your way through it. And that is, that path is changing the inner patterns that keep recreating the struggle. That's a great opportunity. I see like Hell Yeah and Simple Man and Steven. Great. You guys ready for some weight loss and wellness in a different way to get where you want to go and stop feeling like you're struggling? It's a new path, and it is powerful because it means people do not have to keep living in that cycle of, I know what to do, but why can't I just why can't I just do it? Why do I keep ending up back here? Why do I keep repeating the same patterns? Why do why does it feel so hard? Why do I keep fighting myself? And that is the exact place so many people are in. And if I had to give you the one big, domino for this whole live, it would be this: if the struggle is being recreated by inner patterns, then more force is not the answer. There's real weight loss and wellness change that happens when you change the mind, the beliefs, the habits, and the emotional patterns underneath the behavior. That's the big belief, because once somebody really gets that, then what I offer makes so much more sense. Now they can understand why they can know what to eat and still struggle, why they can be on plan for a while and still fall back, why they can want the result and still keep pulling against themselves. And I really care about this because I have seen so many people who are not lacking intelligence, not lacking information, not lacking desire, but they were still stuck in the same cycle. And for a long time, they thought the issue was, I need more discipline. I need more control. I need a better plan. I need to be stricter. I need to stop messing up. But what I kept seeing, over and over, was that the outer struggle was not the whole story. There was something happening underneath it. Part of them wanted change. Part of them wanted comfort. Part of them wanted the result. Part of them was still afraid of letting go of what the old pattern gave them. Part of them wanted peace, but part of them was still using food and habits and old coping patterns for relief. And that is a much deeper issue. When people do not understand that, they keep trying to solve the wrong problem. And that's like an epiphany, right? Because for so many people, the issue is not simply food, it is what the food represents, what the habit does for them, what they are using it to manage, what fear is still attached underneath it, what inner split is still alive inside of them. And when they don't see that, they keep fighting behavior while the deeper pattern stays in place. And that is exhausting. So let's go through 3 secrets that I want to share with you today. The first secret is related to the false belief of what's going to get you to where you want to be with your weight loss, right? And this is where people think that the vehicle to get them there to where they want to go, to that ideal weight, to the ideal health, they think, it's more food control, more restriction, more discipline, more pressure, more starting over, more forcing behavior. That's the vehicle that they've been relying on. And for a lot of people, that vehicle is not getting them to lasting change. And, why is that? Because you can force behavior for a while without changing the mind that keeps recreating the struggle. You can override yourself for a while. You can stay on track for a while. You can push through for a while. But if the inner system is still divided, if fear is still underneath, if old beliefs are still running, if emotional patterns are still attached to the behavior, then the struggle stays alive underneath the plan. And that's why people can know exactly what to do and still feel like they are fighting themselves. Because the old vehicle is, control the outside harder. The real vehicle is change the inside, change how you think, change how you believe, change the pattern underneath the urge, change the meaning attached to food and comfort and relief and control, change the emotional and subconscious programming that keeps pulling you back into that same loop. That is the mental game. That is the true vehicle. And that is why what I offer is so different and it's so powerful, because it is not just another food plan. It's not just another trying harder. It is about transforming the inner system that keeps recreating the same outer struggle. And then secret number 2 is related to some of the crap you tell yourself, right? It's this internal false belief. This is where people make it about who they are. They think, maybe I just don't have discipline. Maybe I'm weak around food. Maybe I always sabotage myself. Maybe I can't trust myself. Maybe I just don't have what it takes. Maybe this works for other people, but not for me. And I really want to slow this down for you, because a lot of people are making identity statements about what are actually like habits and patterns. And that is a huge difference. Not identity, pattern. Because a pattern of emotional reaching, a pattern of inner conflict, a pattern of using food or old habits for comfort and reward and escape or relief, a pattern of wanting change while still feeling afraid of change, a pattern of pressure and slip and guilt and restart, a pattern of trying to force the outside while the inside stays divided. If it is a pattern, if it is a habit, it can be changed. And that is good news, because then the question is not, what is wrong with me? The question becomes, what is happening inside me? What fear is underneath this? What old emotional job is this habit still doing? What inner pattern is still being fed? And that is where real change begins. And that is exactly why my framework works, because I help people to understand what is happening underneath the behavior, how thoughts and habits and beliefs and patterns keep the struggle alive, how fear often sits underneath control and cravings and setbacks, and how subconscious program keeps the old cycle familiar, and how to create a calmer, more aligned inner system that supports real change. So, no, this is not just for naturally disciplined people. And no, this is not just for people who have never struggled, if they even exist. And no, this is not just for people with easier lives, if anybody really has an easier life. This can work for you. All right. So, the third secret is related to pointing the finger outside of you. This is where people think, well, I'd do better if life were less stressful. I'd do better if my family ate differently, if I had more time, if I were in a different season, if my schedule were easier, if I didn't travel, if hormones were not doing this, if circumstances were better, right? And yes, outside conditions matter. Of course they do. But the outside is not the deepest blocker, right? Because I have seen people in very real lives begin changing once the inner struggle started changing. And I have seen people with all the right information and all the right plans stay stuck because the inside was still divided. And that is why the external condition is not the full issue. If part of you still wants comfort more than change, if part of you still is afraid of what giving up the old pattern means, if part of you is still using food, to manage your behaviors, if you're using old behaviors to manage what you do not want to feel, then life circumstances will keep getting used to, you stressing and going back to using food as proof of, the old patterns as proof that you just can't do it, right? So the answer is not waiting for a perfect season. The answer is changing what is happening inside the season you are in. That is where freedom starts. So let me make this practical for you. This is where I want to dive in. So the next time you feel yourself wanting to go back into the old loop, ask yourself, what part of me is pulling right now? Part of me wants what, right? Part of me fears what? Maybe part of me wants health, but another part wants comfort. Maybe part of me wants change, but another part is afraid of discomfort. Maybe part of me wants the result, but another part is still attached to what the old pattern gives me. And then ask, what emotional job has this been doing for me? Comfort, relief, reward, escape, numbing, something to look forward to, a break from pressure. That question is powerful, because now you are no longer only staring at the food, you are understanding the internal pattern beneath it. So let's transition now. Because if this is resonating with you, then you already know this goes much deeper than food rules, right? This is about the mind, the beliefs, the emotional patterns, the inner conflict, the habits and programming that keep recreating the same struggle, even when you truly want something different. And that is exactly why I created what I created for weight loss and wellness and health, because understanding The concept is powerful, but having a complete system to actually retrain the thoughts, the habits, the beliefs, the patterns, and programming is what changes things much faster and much more fully. So here's what I have and I want to share with you. So for weight loss, health, and wellness, I offer an online course that comes in what I call the optimal path. And that includes my exclusive framework that I've developed myself for transforming the mind, the habits, the beliefs, the patterns, the programming, the habits you have that cause you to gain and keep on weight, the habits you don't have that would help you to take it off, right? So looking at the belief system, the mindset, all of that. So I've got 21 video lessons. They're each around about an hour and a half to 2 hours. And then there's dozens of lesson specific hypnosis audios. So let's say, there's a lesson related to addressing healthy eating habit, or let's say healthy grocery shopping, like knowing exactly how to shop in a grocery store and read labels. That same lesson is going to be jam packed with mindfulness and how to shift your mindset, how to think differently, how to not worry and doubt and have fear and such and such. But the hypnosis is going to give you suggestions for craving healthy foods, desiring only healthy foods, wanting those healthy foods, and shopping, therefore, for those healthy foods, being attracted to them, right? So you can see how the hypnosis takes us to a whole nother level. And with this optimal, you have lifetime access. So anytime I add stuff, anytime there's additional hypnosis audios made or more lessons added, you get that. And let's say you take a break from it for a while and you're doing well, but then later on, like maybe around the holidays, you want some more reinforcement around healthy eating or managing yourself through, those food choices. You have lifetime access to my lessons and the hypnosis audios. And they also get Mind Master Collective. That's a private community for all, like-minded people that are taking my courses and um, actively involved in any of my trainings. So that's like a feed where you can chit chat with each other and support each other. Monthly Dialogue with Dawn live Q&A calls. So this is a way to access me directly and ask questions. You submit those questions. And then there's years of recorded monthly dialogue with Dawns. And they're all on replay for you with, bullet points of the actual questions that were asked. And, all of this, is important because this is not surface level help that I'm talking about here. You are not just getting information, you are getting a complete framework, subconscious reinforcement, community, direct access, live support, and years of replays that help you stop fighting the surface while the deeper issue stays alive underneath. So with the lessons, the 21 lessons, again, they're an hour and a half to 2 hours each. They're teaching you mindfulness, presence, how to not worry and doubt and fear and second guess and regret, how to be in your peak performance state, because, emotional eating is a big thing, reacting to life and oh, I don't care, I'm going to eat this anyways, or it's Friday, so I'm eating this, or I had a long day. So, those are habits and belief systems that are addressed at that subconscious level. So this is about real change from the inside out. So if this speaks to you and you are tired of using force as a vehicle while the inner struggle keeps pulling you backward, this is the time to step up. So weight loss, health, wellness, my optimal is the path that I have for you. Just go to dawngrant.com. That's my name, DAWNGRANT.com. There's a start here with a drop down, and you'll see weight loss and wellness, and you can find the online course right in there, because when the inner conflict starts healing, the struggle starts loosening. And when fear loosens, real change can finally move. And that is exactly what I created this for. So stop fighting with yourself consciously, stop fighting with the old habits, end the old limiting habits and the old beliefs, create new healthy habits and new healthy beliefs. And that all happens at the subconscious level. And that's one of the beautiful things about hypnosis. Adding that together with the mental training offered in my online course with the video lessons. And in my opinion, it is a winning combination to help you to get past the loops, the struggles and such with the habits and beliefs and patterns around what has caused you to be overweight and what is keeping you overweight. So, any questions, of course, you can email info@dawngrant.com. Mark your calendar. I do a live event on my social media every Tuesday at 2 o'clock Eastern time. So, hope that I could help you. I would love to help you. And check out my stuff, dawngrant.com. I'm there for you. So, dawngrant.com, DIWN